What you teach matters. How they learn matters. Connecting with your students is what you do best, and nothing can stand in the way of that. But what if you could take that connection even further and spark something amazing? This is Discovery Education. You know we have exciting, exclusive content, but did you know that we have so much more than video? We've got reading passages, images, and interactives. We've even got podcasts. And if you're looking for professional learning support, we have instructional strategies, ready-to-use lessons, and one of the largest educator communities in the world. We partner with the biggest brands out there to get your students engaged and excited. And to help every student learn, differentiation tools are built right in. Our content reflects a wide range of diverse cultures and views. And because the world is always changing, we add new resources every day. So keep doing what you do best, and we'll keep you connected to what matters most.
Welcome to Fayette County Public Schools educators, parents, and community members. My name is Brad Fountain, Director of Teaching and Learning, and your guide as we explore the Discovery Education Social Studies experience. When you log in, this is the homepage you'll come to, and you have a variety of options available to you right up front. You can search by subject, by standard. Teachers and students can build resources and activities in Studio. Teachers can build their own assessments. They can monitor classroom progress within their service. And they also can get support as educators, learning instructional strategies, professional learning opportunities, and our online community of educators called the Discovery Educator Network. We're always highlighting current events and details that are going on with Discovery Education Services, like celebrating Earth Day, going green with Major League Baseball, Jewish holidays, and a variety of resources to support summer learning opportunities as well. And this recommended section will change over time. We're going to dive deep into the curriculum pack of Social Studies Textbook in just a moment. But before we do this, though, I want to highlight also the opportunities you have to customize your homepage by adding and removing channels to fit the areas of focus that you have right now. You'll see we have a lot of social studies opportunities right here in front of us, but you can also add in science, math, language arts, a variety of other channels if you need to. And what a channel is, it's a curated content collection. So if I'm looking about medieval history, I can click on medieval history. And you will see curated content collections broken down by K5, 6-8, and 9-12, making it easy as an educator to provide resources right on grade level for the students I'm working with and to easily differentiate. You'll see activities to kickstart your learning, Discovery Education highlighting resources, video segments, imagery, reading passages, podcasts, all available to support the learning opportunities within our classrooms. And again, that works the same for all of our channels within our service. We also highlight a variety of perspectives and unique cultures as we're going through with the African American Experiences cultures. We have cultures channels. How we support social justice is also highlighted within a variety of channels we have available. But let's dive into Social Studies Textbook for a few moments. When you open up Social Studies Textbook, you can navigate to your course right up here. In this case, I'm in a World History course, but you see we have the U.S. History, Prehistory to Reconstruction, United States History, Civil War to Present, World Geography and Cultures, and Civics and Government to accompany the World History, Prehistory to Present course. You'll notice we're organized by chapter, units, and concepts. And for our purposes right now, we're going to go into Ancient Greece. When I go into Ancient Greece at the chapter level, you'll see that I can highlight part of the world we're talking about during that time historically, so we can see what part of the world that took place. I have pre-made chapter assessments that are available for me right here. And all of our resources align nicely with your social studies concepts and disciplinary practices. When we go into specific concepts, in this case we're going to look at the Greek political systems, you'll notice that we have a variety of tools available for you. As you'll see, we're built around the 5E instructional model, which really focuses on students going through an inquiry approach to instruction of social studies versus memorizing dates and facts and events. We want students to showcase how they can communicate their understanding in a variety of ways and connect it to current events and to other historical events as well. So you'll see that we have text written on grade level for our students. In this case, for written about a 6th, 7th grade reading level for our middle school students. In an ideal world, every kid would come in reading on grade level, but we know that's not reality. So how do we support all the different learners who come into our classroom day in and day out? We have a variety of tools available to do that. One is, over on the left-hand side, you'll see a language option right here. If I click on that, I can adjust from reading level A, which is again on grade level for my students, or I can drop it 200 Lexile points or nearly 2 grade levels by clicking on reading level B. What that does is it changes the sentence structure and the non-academic vocabulary for our students. I also can convert the entire text from English to Spanish for students who may need that support. And when I do that, I can also highlight text and have it read aloud in English and Spanish as well. Now the Spanish is authentic versus a Google translation, so it's 100% accurate for our students who may be Spanish speakers. I also like to point out that not only does that support our Spanish-speaking students in our classrooms, but it also supports parents who may want to support their child, but they're Spanish-speaking themselves and their student may be bilingual. And now they can support their child with the resources as well. We also interface with Google Translate tools. So if you do want to translate into other languages outside of Spanish, you can translate this into nearly 100 other languages at any point in time when you need to. Students can also annotate the text as they go through. So as they highlight the text, you'll see again that read aloud option that's here. And they can annotate by choosing the color they want to highlight with. They also can take notes. Now the notes are tied to their login. And so any point in time, year over year, that they want to look back at notes, they can come right over here to the More option right down here. And there's a notebooking tool that will pull up any notes they've taken, how many notes are in each chapter, what other chapters they've taken notes in. I can see that here as well. And I can look at other courses that I've taken and where notes may reside in those areas as well. So again, a variety of resources support that. One other piece I should mention is we work with any learning management system. So if you're using Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology, any Blackboard, really any learning management system you have, it's easy to assign content directly to your students. And for every page or any video, there's a share option that allows you to directly share it, or you can embed it within most learning management platforms. I should also point out that any content, whether it's print or text, can be saved as for offline using a print version. So I can save it as a PDF for offline access. And all videos can be downloaded for offline access as well for students who may have limited bandwidth or limited connectivity at home. So they can be supported using their devices that they have. We also work on any device, whether you're using a Chromebook, Mac, PC, iOS device, it really does not matter. We even work on an Xbox One, a PlayStation 4. So students have a variety of ways of accessing the content as they move forward. Now, beyond engage, one of the things I like to highlight for folks is how do we connect our students to the information? How do we get them excited about learning the opportunities? And one of the great places to do that is within the Elaborate section. There's a variety of activities that we have students complete, but the one I'm going to highlight for you is this historical perspectives. And what that does is it allows students to kind of look at information from different perspectives, different lenses. So we learn about different individuals who may have lived during this time. So Marcus, who's an artisan, and what his life was like at that time. Helen, who's a Spartan woman, and what her life was like at that time. Augustus, and what his life was like. And Alexander, and what his life was like. And then they're going to have to address how each of those 4 individuals might have reacted to key issues of the time. And so they can go through and actually look through as they're studying the information and think about it from 4 different lenses of perspective. Now they're going to build their background knowledge through the Explore section. And there's a variety of pages of text that are there to support students' learning needs. In addition to the text, we're going to be supporting that text with videos, imagery, all to support students' needs. And the videos incorporate closed captioning as well. So for students, as they're looking to utilize the video, or teachers, they can actually turn on the closed captioning right over here. This is great for struggling readers, students who have IEPs, students who are working with academic vocabulary issues, students who are English language learners. Really, any student in your classroom can benefit from the closed captioning content within our resource. In addition, There are a lot of videos have teacher's guides and black line masters that accompany them, so teachers can have opportunities to call out and ask questions of students with regard to the video content they're watching. One of the tools we're going to be adding in recently is the ability to embed questions directly within the video. That should be ready for back to school this year, July 1. So there's another great feature that's going to be coming, and our service is ever evolving. So you're always getting the latest and greatest content and the latest and greatest features within our service as we continue to grow as a company. The text includes key academic vocabulary that I'd like to highlight for just a moment. So if I click on a key term like Sparta, if I don't know what that means or who those people are, what that place is, I'm going to get a detailed explanation of what Sparta was, a video definition, in this case multiple videos, imagery to help me understand it, in this case multiple images. If I go back to details, a couple of things I want to highlight for you. In addition to the text here, we have the immersive reader. And what this allows me to do is to pull the text out separately. For students who may be struggling with reading, this is a great tool to have available because now it can read aloud for students who need that support.
Sparta is an ancient Greek city-state on the peninsula of Peloponnesus.
They can change from a female to male voice, change how fast or slow it reads. They can change the font style if it helps with the reading. They can change the background color if they need to for students who may have some visual impairments. They also can come here if there are students with IEPs or special needs, and highlighting just single lines of text at a time may be beneficial, or 3 lines of text at a time. In addition, we have the ability to translate this into a variety of languages. Over 70 different languages are available to be translated into. So if you have a student coming in speaking Spanish or Chinese, I can come in and choose one of those languages. And when I do that, I can look at word by word. So maybe I don't know what certain words mean.
Origins.
And I can hear it in English and in Chinese.
起源.
Or I can translate the entire document into Chinese in this case and have it read aloud in Chinese.
斯巴达是一个古希腊城市.
So that works again with all the languages that are available right here. So you have the ability to translate this to support all the different learners who come into your classroom day in and day out. That immersive reader tool will be expanding to other parts of our service here later on this year. In addition, down below, we'll have the opportunity for students to see how Sparta is connected to other places, how it's connected to other events, and what other people historically are connected to Sparta. So students start to see history as this great story that is interconnected between other people, places, and events versus places and events living in isolation. As we dive a little further, students have the opportunity to demonstrate their understanding through a variety of explained activities. Now, the teacher has the ability to really pick and choose which ones they want their students to do, or allow the student to have choice in this case, where they can pick and choose the ones that make sense to them. I'm going to highlight very quickly the quick write, where students can answer directly on the text right here. They can type directly into the box here, and they'll see what kind of they're being graded on this. So this is a scoring rubric. Students see this up front, and teachers can grade this by clicking on the rubric when students submit it. And they can see all of their students' responses right up here in the dashboard for teachers, making it easy for them to grade these, and also easy for students to know how they're going to be graded on these opportunities. As we come back to our elaborate section, we're going to go back into this investigation for just a moment. And I want you to see, once we've explored and gotten our background knowledge to really understand what we're talking about, we can take a look at the issues of the time. So in this case, is the expansion of city-states essential to the survival of the country? Well, how might Marcus feel? He might say yes, but I've got to provide a reasoning as to why. And how might Helen feel? Say she's neutral to it, and here's her reasoning. Augustus may say yes, and here's his reasoning. And Alexander may say no, and here's his reasoning. Now, once I've done that, I can look at what history actually suggests. Now, I'm looking at it from these perspectives, and I have the opportunity to really see how I compare to what history suggests and why they feel that way. So it's a great opportunity for students to see how their understanding is reflected from a historical perspective. In addition to this, we have the document-based questions, or DBQs, right here. Document-based investigations, as they're called in our service, but a lot of teachers refer to them as DBQs, as well as other activities, role plays, say what's. One of the great features that we hear the most positive feedback from is a source library, because every concept has a collection of primary and secondary source documents that are available for teachers and students to utilize. This is a great time saver for teachers. They can spend hours trying to find the right primary source documents that have been vetted, that are reliable, and this saves them all that time. They're all going to be in one place. And we have supports for students. Now, you can't change the reading level of a primary source document without potentially changing its meaning. So how can we make this accessible to more students? Well, one way is by having the option to have it read aloud for students who need that support. We can also incorporate things like reading rulers for students to track as they're reading it or as it's being read aloud to them. For other students with other challenges, we can adjust how fast or slow it's being read. We can change the color of the words being highlighted, the font size, if it's large or small. Maybe you have a student suffering with dyslexia and we can make it a dyslexic friendly version of the font. So now we can make this accessible to more of our students by making some minor adjustments within the text. Again, making it accessible to all our students. And again, reading passages, like pages, like videos, can all be assigned within your existing learning management system, making it easy for your teachers and students to utilize the content. And we also provide single sign-on opportunities so that students have the ability to log in, don't have to worry about a separate login. They can simply log in with their single sign-on and they're all good to go. They don't have to have a separate login for our services. When you get into the evaluate, there's a review of the content for the students and a self-test that they can take anytime they would like. For teachers, there's an assessment section right here. And in this, you will have a couple different types of questions: brief constructed responses in English and in Spanish, and extended constructed responses in English and in Spanish. Now, the brief constructed responses take typically most students between 15 and 20 minutes to answer, or an extended constructed response to fully answer will take about 30 to 40 minutes for most students. So hopefully, as you're starting to see, the organization of the content's really simple for teachers to follow, with the material all laid out for them, but we're going to help with that organization even deeper. Tons of equity content, tons of resources to make it accessible for all of our students, and multiple means of assessment in addition to the chapter assessments, the brief constructed responses, opportunities for students to demonstrate their understanding and explain are all within our service. And we're going to talk in just a moment about the instructional design and support measures that are embedded. But first, let's take a look at that assessment that we had around the extended constructed responses. Again, just like any of our open-ended questions, there's an evaluation criteria that makes it easy for students to see how they're going to be graded on this. And again, that becomes a clickable rubric for teachers. All of this is supported with a model lesson. So we're looking about an instructional design and support. The model lesson is right in place, providing background for the teachers, common misconceptions students may have and how to address those, filling in prior knowledge for students. But then also a full lesson layout that teachers can either utilize entirely as it's written or modify to fit their own instructional practices or needs. We also highlight literacy connections. The reading and writing and social studies skills that we're looking to address are all going to be called out, and where they are being applied and addressed within each concept will be highlighted right in the model lesson. Now, we go so far beyond just what I've shown you here, because with the social studies experience, you not only have access to everything that I've shown you so far, but you also have access to our full Discover Education Experience suite. And what that means is you have over 240,000 additional resources across all grade levels, kindergarten up through 12th grade. And every teacher in your building will have access to these because it covers all subject areas. So in addition to our social studies teachers benefiting from the great content in social studies textbook and the great content in the Discover Education Experience, we have content now our science teachers can utilize, our math teachers can utilize, our language arts teachers. Physical and mental health supports are built in, language supports. And when you're looking at our resources, you can see the reading levels being called out, Lexile scores are available, as well as different language resources that are available as well. All broken down by channels, videos, images, text, pre-made lessons we call studio boards, as well as audio files, interactives, lesson materials, all laid out for teachers. Easy to navigate, easy to find, easy to integrate in any learning management system. For example, how easy it is to find content. If I search for something like ancient Egypt, I would see channels, I would see text, I would see videos, everything that I want in one place. And those channels can be added to my home page very quickly and easily by clicking on the plus symbol right here. And I subscribe to that channel and it'll add it right into my home page. And I can find resources for my kids working below grade level, my kids working on grade level, or for my high flyers, if I want to go a little deeper into the content, I can pull up content from a little higher grade level perspective as well. So great resources, dynamic, that are easy to use, simple to implement day in and day out. And I also mentioned that we have pre-made lessons. So if we're looking at something like ancient Rome, we have these studio boards. And these are using some of those interactive opportunities that I've mentioned and I showed earlier, where students can engage in these. These lessons can be modified by the teacher. They can copy them and make their own modifications. It opens up the investigation right here, where we can explore transportation and trade in ancient Rome. The text here utilizes the immersive reader components. So again, that text can be broken out like I showed you earlier, with those same features of being able to line focus or change the language, all available within our studio board. And that goes for any text that a teacher puts into our resources here. There are questions for students to answer, opportunities to explore deeper into the content as they're exploring the resources, and how to challenge themselves for those high flyers ready to go deeper into the content. So all those work within our service, and those are pre-made, and we continually add to our collection of pre-made lessons for teachers to utilize. Again, looking at saving teachers time and efforts as we're working through the process. In addition to everything that I've shown you, we also provide dynamic professional learning embedded as well as in-person and virtual support for our teachers. So the professional learning section here has a teacher support, which helps teachers see how to find content, share with students. How do we find those pre-made lessons? How do I use this with any learning management system like Google, Microsoft Teams, Canvas, Schoology? How do I create a lesson with Studio? How do I learn to navigate social studies textbook? There's tutorials on that as well. So a variety of supports all built into our service within our Discovery Education. We're also continually adding new features and functions, and you can always look at find the latest and greatest content by coming over here. And you also have support continually built in, so live support for any technical issues you may have, as well as a dedicated partner success team member who will work with teachers to making sure they're aware of the new content, as well as instructional practices they may want to utilize. So I hope you have enjoyed this brief overview of the Discovery Education Social Studies experience. We encourage you to check us out at discoveryeducation.com, or feel free to follow us at twitter.com/discoveryeducation.